What is going on, y'all? It has been a good long minute, probably a couple months since I've posted a long form video, but that's because your girl was busy. Your girl was busy for reals. I had a big plan, a big project that I was working on for a few months, and it was just taking all of my energy. But now I'm ready to share what that is and to kind of catch you up on what's been going on. So basically, I moved, but I didn't just move apartments. I moved continents. Yes, I moved back to the country where I was born, which is in the UK, London. Yes, London proper. If you're in Ontario, not London, Ontario, London, England. A lot of you probably don't know that I was born there. I don't have an accent because I only spent like the first 4 or 5 years. I moved to the US after that for 2 years and did kindergarten in grade 1. And then I moved to northern BC for the rest of my high school years, elementary and high school. And then when I graduated, I moved down to Vancouver. And that's a whole other video. But I decided to move back to the UK. I did a 6-week solo trip last year around this time, and it really opened up my eyes. I really think I was running away from work and probably some other things, but it really opened my eyes to what I really had been missing. I loved being in a different country. I was in London, of course, visiting family. I was in Paris, and I was in some parts of Italy for like almost 3 weeks. And just seeing how relaxed, the vibe is, especially in Italy. I went to a wedding in Paris, so that's why I was there for that long. But it just really made me think like, I'm missing out. Like, I'm not really living. And I had just turned 56 at the time. I decided I'd put on this same getup because I had a video last year that went viral from me saying, yes, I'm really 56 and this is how I maintain my youthful appearance. But before I came back from that trip last year, I was like, I'm definitely coming back. Like, I'm definitely traveling again next year, maybe for a little bit longer. The original plan was maybe like 3 months in Italy and then maybe somewhere in like, I don't know, Colombia or somewhere warm for the winter to escape the Canadian cold. And then as time went on and I started thinking about things more, I thought, you know what, let me move to London instead. I have a better support system there. I have some friends there. I have like family there, like my stepmom, my 2 sisters. We share the same dad, my nephew. And I just felt like for career purposes, it would be a better place to be, in terms of the things that I love, fashion, beauty, interiors. I think there's just more of a vibe going on in the arts and entertainment world than it would be in Italy. The other thing that made me decide to move to London was I felt if I stayed in Italy for 3 months, I would be limiting myself because yes, thanks to Brexit, I too, as a British citizen, could only stay in Italy for 3 months max, and then I'd have to make sure that I stepped out for 3 months and then come back in. So I didn't want to limit myself because I do have friends in Paris, I do have friends in Italy, and if I had just stayed the entire time in Italy, I wouldn't be able to visit those people whenever I wanted to. So I decided, let me just stay in London, let me move back to London, and let's just start over. So I'm calling this my reinvention era. I just turned 57, and I just felt like I just wanted more. I wanted more. I'd been at my job for 4 years, and I'm grateful for that job, even though it became monotonous and mundane. After a while, there was no growth opportunity there, and there were just some other things where I didn't feel in alignment with. I just wanted more. I just felt like Toronto ain't it anymore. It just ain't it. Dating, that's a whole other thing too, but trying to meet somebody there, that wasn't happening. And I really didn't have anything or anyone keeping me there. I didn't have some big, like, a high-level executive job, didn't have a mortgage, don't have kids, don't have a pet, although you could bring your pet. I had my aunt, and I will admit that I knew that would be hard leaving her. You know, she is really my only family, only to find out we're actually cousins just by way of things. You know how West Indians are. So for the last, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 months, I'm just like, okay, I'm moving. So I started getting myself together. I started the whole savings process. Now, obviously, because I'm a British citizen, I had to make sure that I had my passport. So that was a whole other process, renewing my British passport, because just for legalities and things like that, you know, there was a little bit of a hiccup with it, but I managed to get it. But I was in limbo for a while thinking like, am I going to get this in time before I leave? I've already booked my one-way ticket. I've already given notice of my apartment. I have to be out in September, and I don't know if I'm going to get this passport. Am I going to have to postpone, delay my trip? Am I going to have to pay to change my ticket? Like, all these things were going through my mind while I was still working and preparing myself. So I did get my passport, thankfully, in this big rush of a thing. Renewed my Canadian passport as well, and gave my notice at my apartment end of July. That's 60 days, and I gave my job 1 month's notice. I did that because of the job that I was in, and I felt that that was a nice thing to do. I know I didn't have to do that, but I just wanted to leave in a really good place, on good terms, and help them out as much as I could, because there's a lot of moving parts to the job that I had, and I knew based on my environment and just things that helping to prepare and do as much as I can, and give them as much notice would, you know, kind of help things along. So I moved. Child, I was so overwhelmed with moving out of my bachelor apartment. I did this all by myself while working like 12 days straight up until my last day of work, leaving the weekend behind. I was so overwhelmed and stressed and everything that I missed my original flight. I was supposed to fly out on Monday, September 29th. Come 9 o'clock at night, my flight was at like 10:45 or something. I was just like, girl, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. I'd be looking around my apartment. I'm just like, there's so much stuff. What am I going to do with all this stuff? I don't know. On top of that, the flaky Facebook Marketplace people were adding to the stress as well, because just when you thought you sold something, people just like, oh yeah, I'm going to come and pick it up at this time on this day. And then they would not show up. They would even call to say, hey, I changed my mind. Hey, I found something better. Hey, I'm going to be late. Hey, I can't come this day. I can come this day. Nothing. You would even follow up. I would follow up with these people. Hey, are you still interested? Crickets. And I'm like, that is poor human behavior. That is rude. That is disrespectful. Where's the human decency? Where are your brought upsies, your manners? Like, I just don't understand people. Honestly, I was proper vexed. If you are selling something on Facebook Marketplace, like, just beware. And if you are buying something from someone, please just follow through. Please have some manners. Please have some courtesy. If you don't want the item anymore, you can't make it, whatever it is, just let somebody know. I'm totally okay if you change your mind. That's not a problem. But just to like straight up not show up, not call, not message, or you check in with me to make sure it's still good to pick up, and then you still don't show up? Like, what in life? I was proper vexed. Sorry for the hand gestures, but it just added to everything else that was going on. Anyway, I missed my flight. I had to pay. I got a little bit of a credit due to the type of ticket that I bought, and I had to just like basically buy a new one-way ticket for the following night. And the night that I was supposed to leave, I thought, okay, let me drop a couple more boxes, because my boss said, yes, you can leave some things. I said, can I leave some things in the basement? So I left some things, and I thought, on my way to the airport, I'll drop off the remaining 2 things, and then I'll go to the airport. Well, that didn't happen, so I ended up staying at my my former boss's place the night before, because they live upstairs from the studio. And the Tuesday, I actually had a day to relax, to do any last minute things, just to chill. which was what I was hoping to do the day before on the Monday. Anyway, long story short, I made it. I landed in London on Wednesday, made it to the house, me wrangling 2 large suitcases, a carry-on and a backpack. But along the way, I just asked Spirit for people to help me when I needed help, and the help showed up. One lady helped me just move one of my suitcases, helped me to get onto the train that I needed to get onto. So there were people there to help, and I'm very grateful for that. And you just put the vibes out there, and people will just show up. So the following Sunday was my birthday, last Sunday, or like the 5th of October, and I actually went over to a cousin's house. It's very interesting when you find out you have family that you didn't even know that you had. So the person that I went to is a cousin, my mom's first cousin. My mom passed in 2001, and I've just found out all these things, interesting things after she had passed, just over time, over years. So I went to go see her and spent my day with her and her husband. I met another cousin, her granddaughter, and it was their 56th wedding anniversary as well. So it was just like one celebration weekend. And then I'm like, okay, well, we need to book this trip. We need to book this trip to Italy. That was my birthday gift to myself. And I was just like, oh, how much do I want to budget for this trip? And I was just like, not in the headspace to book it. I don't know if I was just still coming down from all the stress of like moving or what it was. And then I finally just was just like, yes, we got to do this. Please don't mind the noise. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm filming this from my accommodations in Sardinia. And I totally lost my thought. I booked the trip. I booked my flights, 3 flights. I was hoping to do more train travel. I knew I wanted to go to Italy, and my original plan was to spend more time in southern Italy and then work my way up back to the north and then take the train back to London. Well, that didn't work out how I had planned. I ended up in Sardinia, which was a place on my bucket list, and I didn't think I could swing it because it's obviously on an island and it's a little further west than I was expecting to go, and then having to fly back onto the mainland and then go south and everything. But I managed to swing that, plus some more travel down into Puglia. So I booked my 3 flights one night. The next night I booked all my accommodations, and we were good to go. I booked this whole thing in like 24 hours. EasyJet was my first. Excuse a momento. Sorry, I'm back again. I think the owner of the property came in to drop off some toilet paper for me. Anyway, yeah, I managed to book everything, and I'm just like, just do it, girl. You're gonna be fine. Spirit was just telling me, just book it. Don't worry about it. You're gonna be fine. So the reason for my move back to London, as I said, was I just felt I wanted more out of life. I wanted to just start over. It's not something I imagined myself doing, but I knew that I wasn't entirely happy in Toronto. And I just felt like it's time to start a new chapter, which is what I'm calling my Reinvention era. Even though I'm closer to 60, this is midlife. I am in my midlife, and instead of calling it a midlife crisis, some people might be calling it a rebirth, I'm calling it my Reinvention era, my new chapter, my new adventure. We are starting over again. So the goal, once I finish my travel, is to find a job. And I know some people might be thinking, girl, you crazy for moving to London. You see how it's mad nuts over there? People be wilding out over there. I'm just that type of person who, with a new adventure for me, it's a whole new mindset. Like, I try not to pay attention to any of that stuff, because We only bring in positivity. We manifesting good things here. We manifesting good things. So I'm not paying any attention to all of that. I've experienced plenty miracles in this lifetime. Things have shown up in my life that I never would have imagined. And we keeping this party going. So I'm going to look for a new job. I don't know what that's going to be yet. My background is all creative. And that's one of the things that makes me feel the most fulfilled, makes my heart sing. Doing something creative is one of those things that I could do for free because I love it so much. It just really lights me up. So hopefully I can find something in fashion, beauty, or interiors. But I'm also somebody who always stays open to things because you just never know what can come your way. And instead of just being tunnel vision, I like to keep myself open to new opportunities, things that I may never have thought of, or things that I didn't think I could do, but the opportunity presents itself. So that's what we do. And once we get the job, then the next part of the plan will be to get my own place. And again, some of y'all might be like, you see how much it costs to rent a place in London? Highway robbery. You're not wrong. It's damn well crazy. I don't even get it. However, again, we are still keep it in the mindset of like everything always works out in my favor. The perfect place is out there for me. It will show up at the right time. It will most likely manifest in a way that is unexpected, magical, miraculous. That's how we live in this era of life. That's what we're focused on doing. I highly recommend it because there's enough crazy going on in the world today, and a lot of times we spend our energy on the negative side of things, the bad things that are going on in our lives, what's not working in our lives. And I really believe that what you focus on, what you think about, you bring about. So we focusing on bringing in good things, no matter what it looks like in the 3D, no matter what you're seeing, in your reality. I truly believe there's a higher force, power, whatever you want to call it, that is working behind the scenes, working on my behalf to help me manifest my heart's desires. So I'm just enjoying my travel. I'm just enjoying this downtime. I'm looking forward to meeting new friends, new opportunities, collaborations, building community, just starting fresh. Even though I've been to London a few times and visited, it's different, when you're actually living the day-to-day. So I'm looking for a remote job so I don't have to get caught up in the transit, even though the transit system's pretty good, but I'd rather be working from home. Another reason that I moved here back to London was because I wanted to travel more. We live on this big, beautiful planet, and, trying to travel to Europe from Toronto or from Canada, especially if you're on the west coast of Canada, that's a really, really long flight. So being over here, my flight to Sardinia was like 3 hours. 3 hours, I think. Traveling around Europe from UK is like easy and cheap. My first time flying with EasyJet, experience has been amazing. They just are up to date on everything. You can check in online way in advance, if you need to at the last minute add some luggage, because it is a low-cost carrier and you're paying, the base fare and then your add-ons. But I love that. If I've done a little extra shopping and I need a little bit more space, yes, I can pay to, bring something on board aside from the thing that has to fit under my seat. So yeah, that's where I'm at now. That's where I've been, if you've been wondering, or maybe not wondering. Just starting a brand new life. I think, you get to a place in life where you start questioning things. A lot of things happen midlife, whether that's, one, your body starts changing as a woman, perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause. You can become an empty nester, kids are off to university. That's a life change. Your relationship might come to an end, which I can't help but think that menopause might have something to do with that, because child, things be going on with you, you don't even know what's going on. So imagine other people around you are just wondering what is going on with this woman. You're like, I don't know. just, and then career changes could happen. You could be thinking about, wow, is this all there is? Like, I don't want to do this anymore. What else is there? So when you get to this place, don't feel like it's like a midlife crisis. Just look at it as the time to reinvent your life, a rebirth, a new chapter, a new era. There's a lot more living to be done out there. Open your mind, expand yourself. And if you feel like you're in a place where you're stuck, just start taking small steps towards that. I have some friends that are like totally inspired by what I'm doing at 57 years of age. I know not everyone can just pick up and leave, and don't worry, I didn't just pick up and leave. This was like months, probably a year in the works, but you only have one life. You only live once. Do not wait till you're 65 to retire and then start enjoying your life. Start now. But again, it's going to look different for everybody out there, what they want to do with their life, what you want to do with your life. I'm just telling you what I've been doing, and I'm so glad that I've made the move, even though I feel like I'm in a bit of limbo or the unknown. I think taking that first step allows the universe to show me what the next step is. I don't need to know how to get from A to Z or A to Z, as long as I can figure out how to get from A to B, C and D and E and F and G will eventually reveal themselves to me. So that's 20 minutes. I think that's all I want to say in this trip. I will be talking about my travels, being a Black woman in Italy, how I packed and traveled with just a backpack, book bag, knapsack for 10 days, yes, and a small one. So some travel tips on that. And I just wanted to show my face and let you know where I have been for the last little while. Big things were happening, and I just didn't have the time or the energy or the focus to be shooting content as well. So if I lost some of y'all, I'm sorry. I will try to get back into it now, but I had to take care of myself mentally as well, and I couldn't put that pressure on myself. I need to be able to create from a place of peace and not a place of pressure. So my channel content may be changing a little bit since I am in this new era, this new chapter. I'll probably just be speaking on things that I'm experiencing, as the days go on. Life in London, travel stuff, and just what life is like when you switch things up and do a big move, in your middle age. So if you feel like you saw, or not saw, but you got any value from anything that I said in this video, feel free to give me a thumbs up, drop a comment, let me know what you think. Are you thinking of making a big move as well? Do you feel like you're a little bit stuck and you need to change? Let me know. I'm really curious because, this is important stuff, you don't need to stay stuck. There are things you can do, but you need to know what those are. And if you don't, let's chat. Let me know. Okay, so thank you for watching. My name is Marie, if you didn't know. And I will see you on the next one, hopefully really soon. Ciao, ciao.